Love you.
Hi, everyone. This is Amber and Sam, and this is our podcast, Lipstick, Lies, and Liberation. It is a podcast aimed at women, talking about women's issues, empowerment, and sharing our life stories in hopes that we can inspire and help people not feel so alone and navigate the world as independent women. So, today we are going to talk about the Vogue article that came out. Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now by Shantae Joseph. But before we dive into that, we are going to do our segment where we talk about our lipstick lie and liberation for the week. Okay, my lipstick for the week is I spent some time redoing my bedroom. So I have been in a relationship for a couple months. It's officially my space, and I made it nice and clean and cozy. And I have all these new perfumes. So I put my perfumes out pretty on my vanity. I got a really nice light colored bedspread that I put out with all my little cute fancy pillows. And it just made it really comfy and just feels a little glamorous for me. My lie is that I cannot get control of my front or backyard. And I learned a lot about weeds and stuff this week. And I have weeds that almost look like ivy, like going over rocks and a lot of the yard. And I almost just took a shovel to it and just dug up all the grass, but I decided not to, and I was patient. And a lie is that I couldn't get control of the yard. And I feel like I successfully have, and it's on its way up. So that's been good. And liberating is, I realized this week with being single, just how liberating it is not being in a relationship. It's something I always felt like I needed to have. But the other day I realized I can go anywhere I want. I can talk to anybody I want without feeling bad or guilty or like I have to check it with my partner or a spouse if it's like a male. And I've been making a lot of I've been making some male friends, which has been nice. And that's something I haven't done a lot because like there's always been a significant other. And it's just been really liberating to be at a point in my life where I literally don't answer to anybody. And that's been nice.
Heck yeah. I want to see your room.
Oh, maybe I'll show it on the next one.
Yeah, you'll send me pictures though.
Yes.
Okay, my lipstick this week is the same as last week. It's
Your
press
nails, I
on,
love it.
press on nails. They've got little flowers
They're very cute.
and little gems, and
Will
they're
not
just
show you my nails right now.
they're so cute. And yeah, they were like $11 and they last 2 weeks. So yeah, I love it.
Very affordable and chic.
Yeah. My lie is that so in the hero's journey, Amber, are you familiar with it? Joseph Campbell, The Hero's
I
Journey.
feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah, most people have heard of it. It's a very common, it's kind of like every story or most stories follow this arc where it's like Star Wars, like the hero leaves his familiar place because he answers the call. He like gets tried on his journey and then like slays there's like dragons he has to overcome in a dark forest. He has guides who help him and then like at the end like slays the dragon and then like goes home to share the knowledge he's learned with his community. But again, it's very male centric, and I created my own essential redemption journey for women.
Mm.
It's a different journey that really think only women go on. But anyway, there's an amazing little documentary on it called Finding Joe on YouTube that is
Mm.
so good, and it's really beautiful. All these cool people are like talking about it and how they've applied it to their life. And anyway, the misconception about the end with the hero's journey is that you slay the dragon, but actually you learn to love the dragon when you
Mm.
win. So
Oh.
yeah, so today is Beltane, which is the start of the new year. It's spring, it's like a rebirth. It's beautiful and it's so fun. It's like such a powerful energy, like it just feels like everything's alive. But I was like, with a new season comes new dragons, but remembering to love the dragon
Mhm.
instead of slaying it.
I love that.
That was the lie. And the liberation is if you are watching on YouTube, I got out of the shower, I barely put on any makeup and my hair is still drying. So and I've just been practicing like in the past I would have never let myself leave the house without being dressed, like actually
Yeah.
in outfit of some sort. And within the last year is the first time I kind of got like active wear and was
Yeah.
wearing. Yeah, and so I've been like leaving. I feel like most people kind of have gone on the opposite journey where
Yeah.
they want to get dressed and not wear their activewear or like their sweats or like their sweatshirts. But I've actually been like letting myself have permission to not be like perfectly put together and to like
Mm.
have no makeup on, my hair up, like in a sweatshirt, like just walking around. I see all these women do it all the time, and I'm like, she's just cozy and like living her life, and I love that. Although I do love getting dressed and like getting together every day. It's like so fun and it makes me feel good and happy. But like, yeah, just not feeling limited based on what I look like or what I'm wearing feels really good. And that feels like a liberating practice because it is something new for me. So if you're on YouTube, my hair is drying and I'm flipping it from side to side so it doesn't dry weird. But
I love that. Yeah, I think that's great, especially if like for some reason you have this internal pressure or like idea that you have to look nice or put together every day. And yeah, the sweatpants and like comfy clothes are definitely in, especially with like the younger kids and like high schoolers and stuff. And I'm like, why wasn't it like that when we were in school, you know? But they do, like, people and women look adorable like that. They do. So
yeah.
embrace it.
Yes. Oh my God, I've been thrifting 2000s like Y2K activewear and it's so cute. It's so fun, so cute. I love it.
I love it. All
But I'm
right.
excited to dive into our topic.
Yes. So, is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? And I know that article was really big. A lot of people talked about it. And it's a quick read if you haven't read it. And she makes some really good points. And I kind of think it is.
Huh.
And so, like, my first thing is like, one of the topics she brought up was if you have a boyfriend, should you be posting about it on social media? And she gave examples where there's been like influencers in the past who have posted their boyfriend and they've lost followers because it's like there's a lot of women who are listening to content and they're listening to content that they want to hear about women and women's issues and empowerment and they don't want to hear about somebody's boyfriend because like it should almost be like a bit like insignificant in your life. It shouldn't be the main thing. So, what do you think about if you're not engaged and not married, posting on social media platforms that you have a boyfriend? And I will say recently I went through this. I was in a relationship for a year and I found I wasn't posting anything with my boyfriend. I was fully committed. I was invested. We were integrating our lives. Like it was serious. It's not like it was casual. It wasn't a situationship, but I just wasn't finding myself doing it. And then I started to do it towards the end of the relationship. And then I actually like paused myself because I could feel the relationship was coming to an end.
Yeah.
And when that was happening, there was a part of me who was like, I don't want to post a picture with my boyfriend because you know what? I don't think it's going to work out. And I
Yeah.
don't want to be putting that out there when it's just a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with them. And I don't know. What do you think? And I don't want those Facebook reminders 2 years from now. Like, this is what you were doing on January 26th of
Yeah.
2026. And like it's his face that pops up. I don't want that.
Yeah. That is funny. Well, I thought it was, yeah, I was surprised that so much of it was focused on the social media aspect. I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting that. Um, but I mean, it makes sense because I think it was written by an influencer and like they have influencer friends and they were referencing influencers. So it's interesting the online component. I wasn't expecting it to be so much of that, but yeah, I agree. I think like it's social currency. That's what
Mhm.
social media is. It's you're capitalizing on a personal brand. And so if you're recruiting people to be a representative of your brand online and that's some random fucking dude that you've only known a couple months, like that's not and they're not an asset, they're a liability at that point in time. Thinking about
Yeah.
it from that perspective. I was confused at one point when she said like having a boyfriend validated your womanhood. Like it was a way to
Mhm.
validate your womanhood, what felt like maybe 10, 20 years ago or earlier. Like having a boyfriend would validate your womanhood. And I was like, how would that validate womanhood? Like, what womanhood? What does she mean by womanhood? Like, I don't understand. And then I think what she means is like 1950s household, like to be a proper woman, it was like you had to stay at home and clean and cook perfectly. And like there would be classes. Like, think of like Marvelous Miss Maisel. Like, she tried to be the perfect woman. And like that was womanhood. That was like sold
Mhm.
us. And I
Yeah.
feel like the remnants of that were like, if a man chose you, then like that validated that you were like womanly and worthy to like play that role, even though the role has disintegrated so much in current day, but it still was like a I'm chosen by the patriarchal like leader of my
Yeah.
environment, and like suitor who I wanted, but now, but yeah, so I think that's what it meant. What do you think that meant?
Well, so like my opinion's a little different because like you're referencing like the 1950s. I honestly feel like probably less than 10 years ago, that dynamic has shifted to me. Because like
Yeah.
even like I'm in my 40s and like when I was in my 20s, it was still very like, oh, like my grandmother all the time, Amber, do you have a boyfriend? She didn't want to know if my grades were good. She didn't want to know if I was thinking
Yeah.
about college. She wanted to know if I had a boyfriend. And like she was still looking at society like that, right? And when I got into my like mid 20s, everybody was like, in their relationships and are you getting engaged? Aren't you getting engaged? And then you get married and then that's great. But it's like, well, now when are you having your baby? You have a baby. 2 days later, are you gonna have a second baby? It like never stops for women. And so like I feel like for me, like from the outside looking in, I've only seen that dynamic shift where
Mhm.
it could be embarrassing to be in a partnership like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because like women, even though they can go out and make their own money and they can have these successful jobs, they've still been pigeonholed into this role where
Yeah.
it's like, you're putting stuff out there and it's like, I have a partner. So see, like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm great because this man's validating me because he loves me, because he's my fiance or he's my husband. And, like that completes my life. And I think it's just been these last few years since people have been talking out about things, even like the Me Too moment, like just showing like how powerful and amazing women are. And I think more women are realizing like, well, wait, like I don't need to be in a partnership. And like that was something else too that she had kind of mentioned. Like before the narrative was like, oh, if you're single and you don't get married, you're gonna live this horribly sad life where you're by yourself
Cat.
with 1,000 cats and die. And that's your whole life. There's nothing more. But now, how many memes do you see a week where it's like, what will happen to women if they stop dating men? And it shows like they're gonna live in their fabulous houses with their
Yeah.
stuff and they're gonna hang out with their friends and they're gonna have their nice things and they're gonna be happy. Like the narrative is changing.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful because honestly, that's where it is. And I think that women are finding it's harder to find value in having a partner.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not like you don't just need somebody now. Like, if they're not bringing things to your life, and if you can do it all on your own, and you're not finding somebody who matches you, like, people aren't settling anymore.
True. Agreed. Yeah. I have a burning question. Um, have you been embarrassed by your boyfriend?
Yes. I mean, like, there is no, like, every man I've been with. I can't say like, oh, one time I had this one relationship or like this happened. Like, no, I have never had a relationship where the man hasn't embarrassed me.
Mhm.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
Some have been he embarrassed me by the way he acted.
Yeah.
But most recently, I've been embarrassed by the way my boyfriend has treated me in public. And that was something new for me. And that's something that I was like, whoa, like I can't tolerate this.
Yeah.
I can't be in a relationship where somebody is embarrassing me because they're treating me so poorly. Like they shouldn't be treating me poorly in private, especially not in public.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I will say my fiance is the only man I haven't been embarrassed by.
I
You
love that. And I'm sure there are a handful, I don't want to say a lot, but there's probably a handful of men out there that won't do anything to embarrass you, because there are mature men and there are good men and they're just as important to these conversations as the women are.
Yeah,
And so that's amazing that you can say that. And that's probably why he's your fiance.
it
And
is.
nobody else has been.
It is why he's my fiance. And
Yeah.
I, not to say he doesn't do things that I'm like that are subtle icks, because I think that is like I think that's just anyone we're in pr close proximity with, because
Yeah.
being a human, like
Hmm.
we are human. So there are a couple things, but that are like tiny icks, but it's like it's not a big deal. Yeah, in terms of embarrassing, no, I've never felt embarrassed by him. And so I really am just loving today, especially feels like a shift in time. I feel like the world is changing, and I feel like today is a day to remember. And I don't know why, but it just feels so potent today, like
Mhm.
for Beltane and for this new season. And it's the Scorpio full moon, and it's the flower moon, and it just feels like an intense shift. But I feel like the matriarch is rising. Like I feel like it really is.
It
And
is.
yeah. And it's interesting because the social media aspect of the article, which like again I was surprised by, but I have shared on social media for like over a decade at this point. I had a YouTube channel and I had an Instagram. I had a fitness Instagram like 16 years ago when I was 19. I started off when Instagram first started. And then like it's just transformed into many different things as I've grown. But like I had a poetry Instagram. I've just always shared on Instagram and had like a little following. And I've had so many men say that my social media presence was a problem for them. Or
Mm.
yeah, or like oh, ew. This one boyfriend, this one boyfriend, he said he used to fall asleep listening to podcasts that I was a guest on because
Uh-huh.
he loved my voice and was like excited to listen and hear my voice, and like he would fall asleep to the podcast. I thought that was so sweet, but he never listened to the podcast. So then he like actually listened and dove into my work, and like it made him so insecure and
Oh
feel
my
so
gosh.
weird. Yes, and it was a huge problem. And he was like, maybe you just need to be single to like pursue all this stuff. And like maybe, yeah. And then I had a friend out in California who was like, who I love and respect, but like I don't know if the red pill stuff has been getting to him. But he said that no masculine man wants a woman with a like with who's on social media, like with a podcast. Like he just doesn't think that's like a possibility.
So that goes back to the my worst type of man probably, which is the man with the huge ego that has
Yes.
to be in a relationship where he feels like he's better than the woman to feel good about himself. And at the end of the day, it's just a very insecure man.
Yes.
And
Well,
those kind of, yeah, those kind of men can reach financial success, status, and if they don't feel like they're better than other people, it's never enough. And
yeah.
like, who wants to be with a guy who says, if you have a podcast, it's not attractive? Like, if you have your own thoughts, because that's what a podcast is, like,
Yep.
no man is going to want you.
Yeah, and he specifically said no masculine man. No man who's gonna like be masculine and want to like protect and provide and like take
No.
charge and all this stuff. And
That is
which
a definition of a man who wants an equal partner, a man who doesn't put women down, a man who wants to provide, not because he has to, but because he just wants to. Yeah.
yep.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
gross.
Well,
Yeah.
I asked my fiance in the fall, I think it was. I asked him, I was like, because, well, I'm a firm believer that you should not share your social media when you're dating someone until like you know that they're actually going to stay in your life, because there's so much information about you on social media that someone who's just meeting you doesn't need to know. Like someone that you're getting to know through dating. And it's like, get to know me in person by you putting
Mhm.
the effort in. You don't get to just like, and if they already know your social media, it's fine. But like, if you're if they don't know it, I keep it to myself until like 5 months in, 3 to 5 months in. And so my fiance didn't see any of my social media for a while, and he didn't even care because he doesn't really post. He's not on it. Like he hasn't posted in years, and he has a business, and like they don't even like post on the business account because
Yeah.
they're busy making money and running their business. So they don't need social media for their business. So anyway, but I asked him, I was like, how come you don't care like because I'll talk about sex, I'll talk about sexual healing, I'll talk about trauma, like yeah, anything, the whole spectrum I have spoken about online and shared intimate details about my life and experiences. And I asked him like, why do you not care? Like, what are your thoughts on it? And he said, well, Sam, it's not about me.
Mm. Wow. Wow. You would think that would be easy to know, but that probably wouldn't come from a lot of men. So kudos to Ben.
I know. I was flabbergasted, which is actually embarrassing because it shouldn't be flabbergasting. It should
Yeah, it
be,
shouldn't be surprising that he thinks that way.
yes. He was like, Sam, it's not about me. It's about
Mm.
you and it's about the women that you want to help. And it's not about me. And
Yeah.
and he was like, I'm so happy to like love you and support you and cheer you on. But in terms of like what you're doing, that's it's not it is nothing like it's not about me. And I was like, oh my God.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
love
I was.
that. I love that so much.
Yeah. So I think again, but I think that's why like women she said in the article like so it's so funny because I actually follow one of the influencers that's quoted, Sophie Milne.
Mhm.
She's such a badass. I love her. She's really cute, has like cool outfits. She just like challenged herself to try to learn how to fly a plane because she's scared of it.
Oh,
But she,
cool.
yeah, she
That's
did one last.
empowering.
I know she's like always
Yeah.
solo traveling. She's like been full-time creator, but she was like, pick out my outfit to fly a plane. And she's
But see, that's how all women should feel. Like you should feel like you can do anything and you could go out there and be independent and make your life whatever you want it to be because you can.
yes, yeah. And she said that when she's been dating someone, people, her followers have messaged her and said, please don't get a boyfriend. That was her. So
Oh, okay.
that line where they were like, please don't get a boyfriend. And but I think the main thing is not that they don't want, not that like we don't want other women to have romantic relationships, but that we want it to still be about them. Like we don't want it to be about the man. We want it to be about Sophie or about you or about me. Like we don't want it to suddenly
Yeah.
become a page of Dick, Harry, and Charles. Like,
Well, yeah, because then it like shifts the focus. And I think that's why like it's important that people are learning about like decentering men, which we've talked about. And yeah, like having a loving, supportive relationship is awesome. And it's great for you if you want to be in a relationship. But it is like when you have your whole complete life and personality and who you are on social media, and then when all of a sudden that changes and it's more the guy you're with, that's where
yeah.
it's a problem. And they brought up a point too that like that doesn't necessarily happen with men. Like
Yeah.
men's social media doesn't change when they get into a relationship. Like they might post a picture here or there, right? But it's still like, look at my fish and sports
Yeah.
and like whatever they're doing or their business or whatever. But like they're not, their whole feed isn't filling up with the woman that they're with. And I think women have a tendency to do that sometimes, or it
Yeah.
comes off that way. And I think it's just like bringing awareness to the fact that like you can have a boyfriend and that's great. But like if that's like your whole life and that's what you're presenting, like now at this point in life, when women are getting so empowered, is that embarrassing?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing they brought up too. They said some women noted that they don't like to post their boyfriend because, like I was saying earlier, what if they break up? Now
Yeah.
it's almost seen as like an embarrassment. You know, like you posted these pictures of this guy for the last year, and now what? You have a relationship that didn't work, and like, can that lead women to feel embarrassed?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There are people I follow, and she mentioned in the article, like you'll see photos of women sharing like them at a wedding or like them at a vacation, and like the guy's face is like censored.
I'd be surprised to hear that. I haven't seen that.
I've seen it with a number of influencers,
Hmm.
and this one woman said that because she's the one who signed up for a public life, a public facing job, and he didn't, and he doesn't.
That makes sense. I understand that.
And I understand that, but it's also like, I don't know, like a Ben would never be like, censor my face or like, I don't want the public to see me. Like he'd be like, I'm not even, I don't, he just watches my stories and likes every single one of them, every single. time. He doesn't care about anything else. His number one thing is making sure that I know I feel supported. He goes on, he looks at
Yeah.
the memes I've sent him, which is probably way too many, and then he and all the houses I want us to buy and all the cool places I want us to travel to. And then he likes all my stories and he hates missing any of them. And that's it.
Oh.
That's like all he does on social media.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
was
like,
surprised when I was listening to it, like for the article, I was taking it as more of like they didn't want to share the man because they were kind of saying the man wasn't important. But I do have a different opinion. I think if you have a
yeah,
partner and you're in the spotlight, or if you overshare and they're more private, like I do think that's nice to like respect like their wishes too, and like give them that privacy if they don't want that, because there's a lot of people who don't want to be out there like that.
yeah.
But I was kind of getting the fact that they were like, oh yeah, he was here. But like just take a look at me, and like this is my
Yeah.
thing. And so I'm just gonna post about myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I know. Well, like with I never post Ben because it's like again, it's not about him. It's like I'll post nice things he does for me as an example of like what is possible or what it should be like because I didn't have any examples of what a healthy relationship. So I feel like I share it, but it's like for women and it's about me having those
Mhm.
standards, being treated a certain way. It's still not about Ben or at least my intention is for it to not be about him.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's to like educate and show people what a like safe, loving relationship can look like with a
yeah.
man, you know?
But also like I don't know, some of the influencers I've seen like muting out people's men's faces, it's like, but they're engaged.
Mm.
So like if you can't even have your like that's kind of weird. Like you're making this commitment to someone and they can't even let you show their face or like you don't want I don't know. I feel like that is a little strange because
Well, I
like
don't know. What if their other fiancés see their picture? And
exactly
then it's a problem, obviously, Sam. But see,
true.
that's a sad thing because that's like where women kind of have to think is like, why don't you want to share me on social media? Like, if you have social media, if you don't have it, that's one thing. But it's like, well, then why aren't we sharing all of this? Because I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
like
another thought people have in relationships too.
yeah, true. Well, I think
Hmm.
maybe, but you know that their mom, like let's say they get married and you're posting pictures of your husband and you're blurring out his face or putting an emoji over his face. His mom is on her Facebook posting
Yeah,
pictures of them on the internet that like someone can do a Google reverse search and like find pictures of you and then probably those images. And so
yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
extreme. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
If
it.
you, yeah, like I get it if it's just a boyfriend, but if it's a more serious relationship where you feel like they might stick around, then
Hmm.
like the extra effort of like protecting their identity, like who can like again, it's not about them.
Yeah.
So I just yeah, I just think obviously do whatever feels right for you and your relationship. But okay, the next point from the article that I really want to talk on, well, this part isn't mentioned in the article, but this is what came up for me was that now we have a capitalism-based society and it's focused on raising and producing workers. So that's what we have. And that like survival is now based on working and not a family. So we have like safety in and autonomy in capitalism is just focusing on making sure you have enough money to survive and like being okay on your own rather than prioritizing having a family to survive.
Hmm.
So like women to feel safe in capitalism, like we have now chosen ourselves over having a family because nothing supports it. There's no structure, there's no like you could easily be homeless in America. There's like no safety nets. Like I remember my um sociology teacher, she was from Germany and she's lived in many countries. She was teaching in New Jersey and she was like, I had culture shock when I first came to the United States because there's so many homeless people and that's not the same in other countries. And we were in like she lived in many countries in Africa and she's like, you don't ever see that. And we
Yeah.
asked why and she was like, because there's so many government safety nets in place that keep people on their feet no matter how long, like that just protect its citizens. And we don't have that here. So it's like the only safe option for women is to prioritize making money over having a family because that's the only way to guarantee safety in this system. But
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I
if it were,
mean,
sure, sorry, you go.
yeah, no. I think it's very important for women. And like another thing too, like with my divorce, um, I had like I went to college for my career that I had, and I was making more money than my husband when we were first married. And then we had our second child, we decided I would switch careers so I could stay home during the day and work evenings and weekends, and it put me significantly lower in my salary. And then once my kids went back to school, I went back into that field that I gone into for college and I'd worked in for like 7 years before I gave it up to like stay at home with my kids.
Yeah,
And he never held the money over my head the whole time we were married. Like he never said like I make more than you, so like say what we do with the money and stuff. Like he never did that. I'll give him credit for that because I do hear horror stories with that.
yeah,
But then when it was time to get divorced, and he was like, "This is my money. Like, I
yeah,
don't care that you make a third of what I make. I don't care that you sacrificed 10 years and gave up your career and stayed home with our kids and then just started your career over again a year and a half ago. He didn't care about any of that. And look, I did what I was supposed to on paper. I went to college, I got my degree, I got a good job, and then I trusted my husband. And I trusted that even when the marriage didn't work out, and I believed it didn't work out because of him, that
yeah,
he would recognize that sacrifice or
yeah.
have like like a knowledge of like okay like we're gonna make this fair and I'm gonna make sure that like you're okay because I understand that you make a third of what I do because you sacrificed for our children and for me. It's something he wanted too, and he didn't. So I agree. Like women, like it's very important for them to be able to stand on their own, to have a source of income of their own that they can, work with in the event that they are single. So if they become married, living with somebody or become like financially dependent with a man in any way.
Well, I think that's also like why having a boyfriend is like embarrassing because it's like, well, they could jeopardize your safety in this
Mhm.
capitalist structure. They could jeopardize your focus, your safety, your health, your well-being. You could get pregnant. They could like take your focus away from what you want to make sure that you are safe and taken
Mhm.
care of and provided for. And so it's interesting because the way that society is set up, our economic structure, it doesn't promote family or life. It
Mhm.
promotes individuality and women needing to reject like any like women needing to have safety by being alone and to
Mhm.
support, which is not normal. And that's not how humans survived for thousands of years. It's just our new structure that's only been around for like a few hundred years. But yeah, and then the other thing, my other note is that birth rates are low, but they also want depopulation. So like all the bros and like men that are billionaires are upset because birth rates are low because so we're not producing enough like workers. That's what they're
Oh,
saying. Like we're not producing enough workers to keep the capitalist structure going.
yeah.
Um, but they also want depopulation because we're overpopulated. But they don't want to protect women having children, so women are unpaid slaves to this system, producing a finite, invaluable resource. So, like, we're at the bottom of this structure, producing babies who
Yeah.
will be good worker bees and keep capitalism alive. So, a few thousand people who are billionaires can thrive and, like, just endlessly make more and more and more and more and more. And like women at the bottom are sick of like doing that unpaid, unsafe labor of having kids just to have their support and society reject them and have them be alone and not fed and not have roofs over their head and not have health care and no access to making decent enough money to live off of. So it's like we're waking up from
Yeah.
yeah, from this brainwashing and being like, we're not going to participate in this system anymore. We're not going to bring children, we're not going to like mindlessly bring children into this world when we know it's not set up to actually support any of them in a way
Mhm.
that's healthy or good or like, yeah. So it's just, it's no matter what we do, they're angry, but I feel like it is the breakdown that's
Mhm.
building the road for matriarchy to rise.
Yeah, and I mean, even an article like this,
Mhm.
like getting so much attention, I think it just shows you how it is shifting. and the narrative is shifting, and it's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. Like, how amazing is it to have people even having this discussion about whether or not it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend? Like, I love it. It's great. You know what I mean? It's like before it was just always assumed if you were single, that was sad. But
Yeah.
it's not like that. And like I've told Sam, like I've been only single for a couple months, and like I feel like when I first became single, I didn't know what to do because I've always had a partner, and I was like, oh, like I felt like almost like something was missing because I didn't have a relationship. But the more time that's gone by, like I'm at a point right now where I'm like, I don't know that I want a relationship, and I've never felt like that in my life. Like I
Mm.
literally like I don't know. Like, I'm not searching for a boyfriend. I'm not searching for my next husband. The thought of having one is like very conflicting for me. Like, I don't even know if I want it because I am just like so good by myself right now. And I'm so happy and I'm having so much fun. And I think like not having a boyfriend leads to the fact that like you don't have to ask to do anything, like I was saying, like it's like pure liberation.
Yeah.
And I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. Like,
Well, just yeah, and to let people know, Amber literally hasn't been single since 15.
yeah,
Like
since 15,
this is
like give or take like 4 months of my entire life from 15 on. Yeah.
yeah. So when she says single for a few months, it's literally single for a few months. And
Like
she's
less than a whole year of my life since 15, I've been single.
yeah. So the last 28 years, even
Yeah. My friends used to call me a serial monogamous because I
uh,
would like get out of a serious, like a 2, 3 year relationship. I'd be single for 2 months and I'd be like, oh, this is John. Like, we're in love and we're dating. So
yeah.
it's been nice. It's the first time I've like sat with myself and like realized how to do that. And like now I just go out and I'm meeting so many new people. And I'm learning so much from like all these new people, men and women, It's been like really nice to see.
Yeah.
But I will say, if I see one more picture of a guy holding a fish on a dating app, I might scream. Like for all the single men out there, stop fishing because you're all like, it's not working. It's too long. You smell after. I don't know what the problem is, but like 80% of the guys on dating apps fish.
You know what it is? I think they just don't think it's okay to just go out in nature and just enjoy it.
So they have to be like doing something manly. Like I just killed this thing.
Yeah. And then if
Yeah.
they're a fly fisher where they like catch and release, if
hmm
they're a catch and release fisherman, I'm like, so you like to cause pain to animals for fun because you don't give yourself the permission to just go for a walk in nature and just sit and meditate or just observe and like not think you have to like hurt something in
Yeah.
that. Like, I don't know. I just to me that's like someone who hasn't really thought about much.
Yeah.
And like traditions and like I understand if you're gonna fish it and then like eat it, even as a vegan, it's like if you're gonna fish, at least eat it. Like
hmm
it and eat it. Like that is more respectable. But yeah, the whole catch and release, that's so funny.
Well, if any women listening to this want a boyfriend, just go down to like the fishing dock
Just go
because
to the lake.
go to the lake, go to the dock.
Yeah.
They're all out
No.
there.
Yeah, well, like I think every woman should have the opportunity to live alone for a
hmm
number of years. I think it's really powerful. And I
Yeah.
used to say that to my friends because I had some friends who like went straight from college, like living with friends in college and roommates and not even living alone in college. And or maybe they did for like a semester or maybe a year, but not like but they were still in college and like always with people in a dorm, like
Yeah.
it's kind of different than being an adult and living in an apartment alone. But yeah, and then they went from that to like being engaged and moving in with that person. And so they never got
Yeah.
a chance to live alone as an adult. And I do think it's really, I used to tell my girlfriends like it's an honor and it's so awesome. And like you learn so much about yourself and it's like a rite of passage. And I do think you should get that chance.
You do. And I bet you there's a lot of women my age who like are in the same boat kind of and who have never been alone. And like that can be really scary. And if like anybody's going through that and you feel super lonely, like just give it more time. I promise you. Like one day you're just gonna wake up and be like, this is kind of great.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and to
Um,
give yourself grace because your nervous system takes time to adjust. Even like
yeah.
Yeah, I remember after a breakup, it really helped me with when my friend who had gone through a divorce, she told me it took her 6 months to feel like she could breathe again. Like
Hmm.
she just felt like always like she just couldn't breathe when he moved out and they broke up. And even though mine was just a breakup, it still was like he lived down the street. We would see each other a lot. And so that helped, like being like, yeah, this is just temporary and this is actually like normal. And then one day you wake up and it's like you're breathing easy and
Hmm. Yeah.
everything feels good.
Yeah, so I mean, like, they're all great points, and I think I'm coming to the conclusion that having a boyfriend could be a little bit embarrassing, or at least centering it in your life could be embarrassing, just because there's so many other things. Um, but I do think that, like, to wrap it up, like, they were saying in the article, like, is being single more of a flex now? Like, it's something to be proud of. Before it was kind of shamed, and now it's something to be proud of. It's kind of like a flex. So, like, ladies out there that don't want it, like, go for it.
Yeah, I think that it being a flex is like showing discernment. Like I have discernment and self-worth and I'm single because a lot of men are really terrible these
Mhm.
days. I think it is embarrassing having a boyfriend because it's like, what even is a boyfriend? Like, what even is that? Are there not like nothing is like promised? Like, who
Mhm.
even are they? They're like no one.
Yeah, well,
It's
I do have to say, like, my last relationship after my divorce, we
Mhm.
got very serious very fast and like integrated with our kids and everything. And like, there would be times where I would like have his son at the park by myself, like playing with him and hanging out. And like women, they were like nannies, not like the moms where I was, but like they would come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh, is that your son?" And I would say, "Oh no, it's my boyfriend's." And I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, I'm in
Yeah,
my 40s and like I have like this like huge like serious relationship and like it's my boyfriend. Like it just
yeah,
felt like kind of like insignificant. So it's like
yeah,
if you're making those huge life decisions and you're integrating lives and you're that serious, like maybe it shouldn't be a boyfriend at that point. And if it doesn't feel like it should be more, then like you either need to pump the brakes or realize it's not the relationship for you. Because
yeah.
I was embarrassed.
Yeah, it's like and men, like I promise you, men don't take it seriously. Like unless men will have babies with you and buy a house with you as your boyfriend and encourage you to move across the world and leave your friends and family and career behind
Mhm.
as your boyfriend, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you want to get married? I don't know if I'm ready. That's too soon." Like men do
Mhm.
not take being the boyfriend seriously, like or any other level of commitment seriously unless they are willing to get engaged and get married, that's when you know that they're like a safe person to allow to invest in when it comes to like moving your home or your career,
Mhm.
or, like leaving your family and friends behind. Like I would never move for a boyfriend ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Mhm.
No.
No.
Because
Uproot
like
your
you have to have some stability. Like as
yes.
much as you trust somebody, like you have to have like your roots. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's
Unless you're
important.
yeah, unless you like really want to move to wherever you're moving to, and you would be totally fine if you broke up once you got there because you'd be so happy that you were now in that
Yeah,
location.
if it's something that you would do, I agree. If it's something that you feel like you would do on your own and like stay and you had the means to like take care of yourself if that relationship didn't work out, then
Mhm.
that's a totally different story.
Yeah. But most of
So,
the time that's not the case. So,
no, it's not.
yeah. So
No.
I think it's very embarrassing to have a boyfriend.
I think it is. I think women, you do you. If you want to have a boyfriend, go ahead. If you want to have a couple boyfriends, go ahead.
Yeah.
But just don't make it the center of your life and post things that represent you and how great you are. And just know that like a boyfriend is something extra. It's just something, it's like an accessory.
Yeah,
It's
it
like a
is.
cute new purse.
What mine and Amber's dad would always say, which I don't know if I think you said you don't remember him saying this, but he would always say it to me, especially. He'd be like, Sam, men are like, well, he'd always say all men are pigs, but then he would say,
Hmm.
dating is like shopping. If you don't like what you got, just return it, go to the store and return it and get you a new one.
Yes, yes, I remember him saying that. And it's important to remember because sometimes like we get devastated or we get so wrapped up in someone and like the future we thought we had with them, right? And then when you break up, it's devastating. But it's like, it's like something Sam would say to me all the time, like you can literally leave your house and throw a rock and there'll be a man there who's
There will be
gonna love you and like you and want to date you and treat you right. So hang in there. If you do decide to get a boyfriend, choose
yeah,
wisely and don't lose yourself. So let us
right.
know what you think. Is having a boyfriend embarrassing?
Yeah, give us a like, comment, subscribe, all of the things.
Yep. Check us out on
And
Spotify.
yeah, and we're so excited to see you next time.
Yep. Let us know. Bye.